Guys, I have live footage of my reaction after I watched episode 3 and 4 of Alien Earth. And if you're ready for that, here we go. I couldn't help myself. These episodes are so bad. Like the writing, the actors are doing a good job because I hate them because of how they're acting with the writing, which tells me it's not like they have diversity actors who just can't act and can't do anything. It's literally the writers and the directors who are doing this to this show. Uh, Here's what happens in episode 3. So at the end of episode 2, they stole young girls and see this is how convoluted it is. I'm trying to figure out how to even explain it. This dude right here gets ganked out of the fallen ship, we'll say the ship who has crash landed on Earth. He gets ganked while he's talking to the androids slash not androids, the ones who I complained about have their consciousness ripped out of human bodies and they're implanted in mechanical androids, which to some extent I can believe, right? Because the brain fires off electrical signals, it would make sense that they could put it in an android. However, considering this takes place years before the first Alien movie and hundreds of years before the last one, and they still haven't been able to do this, kind of creates an entire plot that just doesn't work in this series at all. But anyway, we pick up the show with a sister whose consciousness, not her brain, her consciousness has been ripped out of her human body and put into an android, running to save her brother. Now, if you remember from the previous video, this is the chick that had the paper cutter as a sword. I'm not even joking, a literal paper cutter as a sword. Running to save the day because go fucking girl power, right? Of course, she finds her brother starting to be cocooned by the alien in a shipping container. Cool, I can kind of go with that. That's happened in pretty much every movie previously. No issues with that. Her just, pulling him out of the cocoon, completely okay with that. We've seen Ripley do it, so I don't have a problem. That's not the girl boss moment we're expecting to happen. So I'm okay with this part. But this is where it loses every bit of, I want to say every bit of credibility, but it had no credibility to begin with because I was so pissed off from the first 2 episodes that just destroyed the entire lore of the entire franchise. But we'll keep going here. Of course, it was all a trap set up by the alien. Now, the alien just stands here for like a good minute in the TV show as they slowly walk towards it in a fucking shipping container. There's no other exit. They are literally stuck in here. That alien could run in right now and fuck them all up in less than a fraction of a second. I do mean literally less than a fraction of a second because I believe it was episode 2 where the alien, in the span of 45 seconds, kills multiple soldiers, breaks down a door, wipes out an entire house party, and in the span of, I literally say, from the time it shows up to the time everybody's dead and goes back into hiding is less than 30 seconds. It kills like 10 plus people. But of course, the plot demands it that she has to girl boss it, so it sits in the doorway and then, of course, runs away. But where does it run to? It runs on top of the shipping container. Now, let's not forget, in every other previous movie and everywhere earlier in this TV show, this thing walked quiet as hell and nobody heard it walking through anything, whether it be metal or ductwork or, climbing upstairs or doing anything. Nobody heard it walking. And we go to the previous Alien movies where it walked through ductwork and on top of thin metal slabs and nobody heard it because, well, it's a sneaky motherfucker that just likes to murder things. But of course, Girl Boss here has to pull out her sword and stab the thing through the shipping container, which is where they find out it's Blood's acid. Well, at least they kept one thing from canon. That's, I guess that's a plus there. But if you thought it couldn't get any worse, don't worry, it does. Girl Boss grabs a hook because, well, as the first 5 minutes of the episode set up, all they do is talk about Peter Pan, so they gotta have a hook in there. Not to mention that we literally just watched this thing's blood eat through a shipping container, a sword, and into concrete, but somehow this hook is impervious to its blood as she puts it through its second mouth. That's right, they pierce the alien's tongue with a hook, and she drags it into a, I don't know, I guess an elevator or storage closet? I have no idea what the hell this is, but I don't care because if you haven't figured out what's about to happen next, Girl Boss does girl boss things and decapitates the alien. Now, if you're like, well, she used the sword, that kind of makes sense. No, the sword's mysteriously gone, and if the sword's not gone, we watch it get eaten by its acidic blood, and now she's holding a little knife that's also being eaten by acid blood. Completely ignore the hook 10 seconds ago that was perfectly okay to drag it across the room and into a container. Completely ignore that. The rest of the show is almost entirely pointless because all they do is bring the alien back for the next 45 minutes. So now they have a little nation full of captured aliens from Weyland Yutani. The only other part that actually matters is this dude right here who, well, if I gotta be completely honest, it's almost like he's grooming the children now in androids' bodies because he's also an android and he can communicate with them however he wants, but it's just him and not any other android because, well, that would break the plot. So let's not think about that any more than half a second. And then the very ending of the show, which completely just made me want to jump out of a window, because this continues into episode 4. That's right, we're still on episode 3. Girl Boss Sister is starting to hear voices from the aliens. That's right, she can hear aliens. Now, let's not forget that she is the exact same android that everybody else is, but for some reason she can talk to aliens. Now, why is this such a big problem? Well, no other android can do it, and we have the established Alien movies where they do talk through telepathy, because we watched Ridley do that when they cloned her hundreds of years from now, how she was the only one who was able to communicate with the aliens because, well, they kind of bred her with alien DNA. But don't worry, just the singular android can talk and understand aliens and hear their feelings. So not only is this like 12 or 14-year-old whose consciousness has been ripped out of her body and put into an android body, now she's super special because for literally no other reason than the plot demands it, and we have shitty writers who don't know how to do anything, she can now talk to aliens and can girl boss her way out and decapitate an alien with a little knife. Now that pretty much concludes episode 3. Episode 4 is where it got really fucking bad. So now that we're on to episode 4, we have Girl Boss here who, Prodigy Corporation, which has never existed before and only exists for this show because the writers, wanted to make everything retarded, is now on a table where they're screwing with her hearing and trying to turn down when she can hear aliens. Not only do they go through this with her being able to hear aliens, they actually tune the other androids to the same frequency the aliens are talking so that they can hear it too. The only problem is they can't hear it. So this is either some I don't even get it. It's not like you can mutate when you're an android. You can't. It's not telekinesis because it never existed before. Or wait, why am I saying telekinesis? It's oh shit. Anyway, telepathy. Why the fuck did I say telekinesis? Telepathy. Whatever. It's the same difference. At this point, this entire show is nothing but brain rot, and I think it's seeping through. But I'm a little bit of a nerd, so I was like, you know what? Let's just keep going. Let's struggle through this absolute travesty of a fucking TV show. And then I hear some of the dumbest stuff I've ever heard. It's almost like these people and the people who like this show are literally retarded and have that extra chromosome. It's almost like they are actual retards. The worst science and understanding I've ever seen in my life. And not only that, we actually have lore that contradicts everything this dude's saying. Not to mention, we have modern science that's literally like, that's not how that works, bro. But let's look at this quick clip of this show.
She has a lithium-ion battery that could power a small city. She doesn't need to rest.
She has a lithium-ion battery that can power a city. Let's just take a look here because we actually have lore. We have lore from video games and other movies. Power for the androids is supplied by a 25 kilowatt hydrogen fuel cell with a life of approximately 400 days between refueling. You know why they don't use lithium ion batteries? Can anybody take a wild fucking guess? You know what? Let's do it this way. Let's think of a Tesla for a fucking second here. You get 300 miles, you have to charge the thing. And can anybody guess how big its lithium ion batteries are? Because they're a set size. They are a set size that purely operate because of that's how much you can fit into a battery. Does anybody want to take a guess at how big the power cells for a Tesla car are? Anybody? All right, now that your guesses are in, here's the size of a Tesla car battery that gets it to 300 miles. It's the size of a fucking car. There's a reason. There's a reason. This has never been in lore before. It's because everybody knows that shit don't work like that, okay? And in case anybody's wondering, what's the price of replacing those batteries? What's the price? Anybody want to take a wild guess? It's $15,000 to $22,000 to replace. And Tesla hasn't been on the market that long, and people have already had to replace car batteries for their Teslas. So, I hate this fucking show. But don't worry, there's actually one cool thing about this show. There's actually one cool thing I have enjoyed about this show. And it's this little fucker right here. This has been the best alien of the show. This has been the only thing I actually want to see because the aliens are absolutely cucked. They like I said earlier, they murder 20 or 30 people in a couple seconds, or they get beaten by a 12-year-old girl with a hook. It's like, I don't even care about the aliens. I don't care about 90% of the cast. Timothy Olyphant's about the only one I give a shit about, and I'm curious about him, and he's a fucking android. I don't care about anybody else. So I actually think this is the star of the Alien show. This is it right here. And it does really weird things. It completely just takes over creatures or animals' neurosystem and makes them do weird things. Like somehow making a sheep walk upright. I have no idea how that works, but I'm curious. This is the only thing I'm intrigued in this entire show. Another one of the transhuman androids, are all these just allegories for trans people? It's kind of what I'm thinking at this point, because it makes no fucking sense. It's full of girl boss, stupid shit, destroyed lore, and girls doing absolute immaculate shit. They bring in this chick who's also been had her consciousness ripped out of her body and put in an android, who is actually suffering from PTSD, thinks she's pregnant, and honestly, I kind of feel bad for this character, but it kind of stops there. I just don't care about the characters. Anyway, the psychologist is supposed to be like, the one that helps them work through everything. Well, doesn't help and makes it worse and tells her, no, you're not pregnant. You can't get pregnant. And we've pretty much ruined everything about you that you would have been human.
I said stop.
Yeah, that's a real scene. So yeah, she pretty much gets confined to her little bedroom there. The whole rest of the show is just the android from Weyland-Yutani trying to groom the other kid into stealing the aliens back for Weyland-Yutani, which actually is probably lore accurate. If we're being honest about it, Weyland-Yutani trying to steal something back someone else took. It's like, okay, yeah, that's about the only thing I believe in this damn episode of Alien Earth. But they couldn't leave it there. They couldn't leave it there. They had to be growing an alien in a lung. And of course, girl boss who can kill aliens with knives and cut off their heads and makes metal not metal anymore and somehow survive alien blood is now communicating with a baby alien that just hatched and making it a friend and a pet and complaining about how they're scared.
Existence is pain.
I hate this show. At this point, I'm convinced anybody who likes the show is a paid shill or just completely fucking retarded. But leave your thoughts in the comment section, guys. While you're there, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this one out. Until the next one, guys, be easy like sleazy and don't watch this fucking show.
Are you tired of that boring, bland coffee? The generic shill coffee? The generic no-name coffee? Well, check this out. We have the Dragon's Treasure tea today. Now here at the Dragon's Treasure, you will find teas for everybody's taste. Everything you could possibly imagine, including soaps. That's right, you stink at the end of the day, so make sure you check out those soaps. They're actually pretty nice. I would recommend them, especially for your convention goers. This is something you desperately need. But wait, there's more. We have the Dragon's Treasure coffee. Now, this isn't your normal dropship coffee here. This is the Dragon Treasure Special. Here we have a beautiful blend of different coffees to fulfill all your taste bud needs. But wait, there's even more. Use the promo code Sleazy Society and get a 10% discount on your order. That's right, guys. Be like me. Be a good Jew. Get a nice little discount while you're at it. Shop at the Dragon's Treasure. And did I mention that every bag of tea comes with a hot waifu sticker on it? Save those, collect them, trade them. I don't care what you do with them, but just buy the Dragon's Treasure tea.